Hi guys. Alright, I'm heading off to the airport to head out to Atlanta to deal with more stuff regarding my brother, but as I promised, here is a slightly slower, more explaining video of where I'm at and what I'll have to pick up with when I get back. Alright, so I cleaned up all the extra wires and stuff on top, but I'll just kind of run down what the pieces are. This is a battery, it has 3 modules in it. And this is the front battery, it has 1 module in it. This is the tech box, and it's got all of the wiring in it. These are all the local fuses, both switched and hot all the time. That's a BMS right there, battery management system. This is going to be the high voltage junction box, 400 amp fuse, contactor, hot and neutral high voltage bus bars. Below that is actually the inverter, and below here, blah blah blah, down the middle is the low voltage junction box. This is the kind of thing I have to do next. See this big cable? I have to shorten this to a much shorter cable. And I'll go to the front. This is the top battery box again. This is the pack charger. This is one of my mid design changes. So I have to figure out a way to bump this out a little bit so the radiator doesn't bump into it. This is the high voltage connector. Currently I have master power off, so I can show you how this works. Disconnect it, lift up, push straight up, and pull straight out. And then put it back. Just give it a little push, and then pull this back, preferably with 2 thumbs, and you're locked in. All right, once again, front battery box, pack 2, 3, 4. Last front battery box, pack 1. Master gigavac switch. Regular 12 volt battery. This runs everything that's not high voltage. This is my high voltage coming in from the back. The other high voltage is here inside the box. This is back through the back of my fake. And there's the other connector behind the firewall. Here's another view of the top of the tech box. This, of course, will have a lid on it. Maybe some indicators to give you a heads up or down whether or not you've got some indication of something you might want. State of charge, who knows what I can add there. And then back here, we have the bell housing and the adapters. So we have an adapter here, and we have one more adapter down there, and those will be built out of aluminum, obviously. All right, I have the 12 volt battery minder charging it up. These are my 2 runs in the back. On this side is the signal information from the back battery. On this side is going to be my hot wires all the way around, and my charging wires here. That'll go back to the back gas tank fill cap. It'll be turned into a plug. That will be the filler plug for electrical. Here's another view of the back battery box. You can see it's very nicely, tightly pushed in the way the gas tank originally was. It shouldn't have too much problem with building a nice little skid plate below it. These are the signal wires, so this will make it easy to hook up when you have to take this down. Taking this down is not too bad. You can do it with 1 jack. The jack is pretty easy to balance. I would suggest probably attaching that one piece of plywood to the jack just to give it a little bit more stability. I've used the stock connector bolts down here to attach this, even though it's a prototype. So I've used both the standard bolts on the front of the crossbeam and on the back of the crossbeam, as if this were literally the same bolt-in as a gas tank. Here's the battery again. And now we'll come around and we'll start it up. First thing we'll do is we'll turn on the high voltage. See, nothing blew up. That's a good sign. Oh, and this thing is the inertia switch. My guess is people might take this out, but the idea is that if you get into an accident, this kill switch kills the power to one of the main key on switches. Once that's killed, it stops all of the high voltage from traveling from the contactor, that's that thing, basically just a giant relay, to the inverter, therefore stopping it. If we got a little bit more sophisticated, we'd probably use a pyrotechnic disconnect rather than the gigavac disconnect. So something to think about for the next time. All right, so now I turn on the Master 12. I'm only leaving the Master 12 off because drains the battery. This eats a little bit of voltage, and I'm going to Atlanta. The thing down the bottom eats a little bit of voltage. So anyway, all right, so now that those two powers are on, all I have to do is, yeah, this is my note. I'm leaving everything off. That sound, here, I'll let you hear it again. Once you turn this on, it takes a second, and then it's going to send a signal to the contactor that it can turn on. There's the click. Here's the display starting up. All right, and here we go with my little throttle I just have hooked up here. Oop, let's put it in gear. Let's go 4th gear. Here we go. And I did leave it in 4-wheel drive. I don't know about you guys, but I can kind of just sit and stare at this all day long. I think it's so cool. And the only thing running this is the batteries from the back and the batteries from the front. And it bolts up directly to a T176 transmission bell housing. Directly to transmission, stock 300, Dana 300 transfer case, straight out to my stock shaft and onto my Dana 60 rear end. I don't want to talk about why I have a Dana 60, but I do. Anyway, stock, bolts right out. Just an engine swap. A big engine swap, but an engine swap. Pretty cool, huh? Alright, I gotta go to LAX, and everybody knows how much fun that is. Turning it off is as easy as it's off. This won't do anything anymore. Alright, guys. See you next time.